What?
It's time now for My Two Favorite Librarians. Brought to you by the Copper Tree Boutique in Dales Grand Market, located in beautiful, historic downtown Amherst.
Hi, this is My Two Favorite Librarians. I'm Denise Corey.
I'm Chantel Taylor, and today we're talking about, well, Denise is talking about Canada Reads.
I love Canada Reads. You don't like Canada Reads?
No.
Because you don't read Canadian books.
Never.
I don't understand.
I don't understand why you want to.
Well, maybe there is one this year you'll be interested in.
I doubt it.
Okay, so Canada Reads started in 2002.
Yes.
It started as just a radio program, and it has progressed. They've done TV spots. I don't know what they're doing this year because...
Yeah, because everything kind of went belly up last year.
Cattywampus.
Yes, that's a good one. With COVID starting basically in the middle of it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even get to start last year. So today is the start of Canada Reads, and it will run all this week. They have 5 books that they're going to talk about. So CBC started Canada Reads in 2002. In 2011, they started having themes. So initially, Canada Reads was just, what's the one book Canada should read? But then starting in 2011, they decided to make it more along themes to try and, give the conversation some direction. So this year's theme is one book to transport us.
Oh, interesting.
I will be posting the past Canada Reads winners on our My Two Favorite Librarians Facebook page. You said you had some information about how Canada Reads was going to work. Do you want to talk about that before I talk about the books?
Well, you had mentioned some of it. So from the About Canada Reads calls itself a literary survivor. This is their words, not mine. With celebrities championing books. Championing. It's Duchess's all over again.
Please say werewolf now.
Each day, panelists vote to eliminate one book until a single title is chosen as the title the whole country should read for that year. So, as Denise said, it started in 2002. In 2001, CBC started noticing the popularity of like a one book Nova Scotia, where everybody in Nova Scotia or everybody in Alberta reads this one book. And they thought, let's try to make it bigger. And so they actually, instead of just coming out with one book, they have this like survivor competition where they have panelists matched up with particular books from the long list. And
the champions debate as opposed to the authors debating their books.
And of course, it's good publicity for people on the short list as well as on the long list. And then, of course, the winner. Because most people don't just read the winner, they read what all the panelists are talking about.
Yeah, like I really enjoy listening to them talk about the books and debate the books, and that does get me interested in reading more than just the one that has won.
And the winner usually does pretty good
book sales wise.
Book sales, because like the first winner was Michael Ondaatje for
In the Skin of a Lion.
Yes, I was like, it's something about a lion. And he sold like huge amounts of copies, which was really great.
Michael Ondaatje was probably going to sell a huge amount of copies anyway.
But maybe there are people like me who are like, oh, I don't normally read Canadian. Maybe I'll run out and get that Michael Ondaatje. I'm shaking my head.
She's shaking her head because she won't read Canadian. Okay. I'm going to talk about this year's books.
Okay. So this is
2021.
Do you want to tell us, do you know who the panelists are?
Yeah, I have that too.
Okay, excellent.
Additionally, the library owns all of these books.
Yes.
So you can put them on hold and read them. So if you're interested in them, the library does own all of them. I don't think we own all of them electronically, but we do own a paper copy of all of them.
Yes. And so just before you start, when does the long list get released?
Oh, it was released months ago.
Yes. So you can take the long list and start reading and then pick your short list and then start with their short list if you wanted to.
I think they released the long list in January.
Like as in January 2021?
Yes.
So that wasn't really months ago.
Well, it's March.
I know, but that's 3 days into March. Like it's just a couple weeks ago, really.
It's months ago. It's more than 1 month. Don't sigh at me, Missy. Okay, so I went on to CBC's page about Canada Reads and got the names of the books and who the champions are. So the first book is, they're not in any particular order. The first book that I am mentioning is The Midnight Bargain by C.L. Polk. This one, I think you might read.
Is it true crime or something?
No, it is a young adult fantasy Regency romance.
I'm still not convinced. Is it in Canada?
No, it's Regency England.
I know, but they could be like coming across the channel to discover like the whatever they were discovering. They were in Canada in Regency times, weren't they?
It's not the channel. Anyway, sorry. Okay, so a romantic fantasy set in magical Regency England where a sorceress named Beatrice must make a decision between getting married and giving up her magic or becoming the first female sorceress, like full on magus, I think is what they called it. If she chooses to get married, they literally lock a collar around your neck to prevent you from doing magic because apparently they think it's going to be harmful to unborn children. You're making a squinty face at me.
This sounds terrible. Who would even choose to get married over that? Like, who would even choose that?
But it's also that Regency thing where her family is not doing well financially, and if she makes an advantageous match, she could set her family up.
You're magic.
But she's not supposed to be magic because it's supposed to be the men who are magic. Because it's still...
Oh, you didn't say that. No. I
still
still would be collaring myself.
It's still Regency England. I know, you would have been like spinster. So this book is being championed by Rosie Edda. She's an Olympian, and now she does TV. I think she does ET Canada.
Okay.
I might be wrong about that. She was an Olympian. She did hurdles. Like, you have to be well in shape to do hurdles. Not that that has anything to do with her championing that book. So she's championing, oh my goodness.
Yeah, not so easy now, is it?
No, it's a hard word. Championing. That one. The next one, Two Trees Make a Forest. This one is nonfiction. Sort of. I think, yeah, nonfiction. By Jessica J. Lee. And Lee embarks on a journey to discover her family's forgotten history and connect with the island they once called home. So she finds this hidden memoir of her grandfather's life and decides to piece together what had happened. And so her family had moved from China to Taiwan and then to Canada. So she's tracing them back, but then she's also talking about the history of Taiwan and, you know, the relationships between her family and where they lived. And that one is being championed by Scott Hellman. And it says he's a singer-songwriter. I don't know who that is.
He could be one of the young ones, although apparently not Shawn Mendes, so...
Yeah. The other thing is I'm neither hip nor cool, so...
I know the guy from Corner Gas, and I think... Oh, no, it may be last year that the fashion guy was there.
Yeah, I don't think there's a fashion guy here. I don't know that there's a Corner Gas guy here. Maybe
not Corner Gas. Kim's Convenience.
Oh, yeah. Kim's Convenience and The Mandalorian. Wasn't he in The Mandalorian?
Oh, he was. Yes,
so
he was a fighter pilot.
That guy is Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, and he is championing Hench by Natalie, Zena, Wallshots. This book sounds... you know how you were talking about that romance book where this person does accounting for like a motorcycle gang?
Yes.
Okay, so this one is about this woman who does office work, accounting, data analysis, blah, 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 for superheroes. Yeah.
Okay.
But then she gets hurt, and so she goes to work for a supervillain, and she uses her data analysis skills, Excel spreadsheets, etc. to wreak havoc in superheroes' lives.
That sounds super weird.
It does sound super weird.
But that actually sounds pretty cool.
Do you think you would read that?
I might. Do you remember All My Friends Are Superheroes?
Andrew Kaufman? I have it on my list. I've never read it.
It's really hard to find. I don't know if it's being printed anymore. I read it when I was in Halifax. They had a copy. I don't know if they still have a copy on their shelves. That was very interesting.
I think it's of that ilk where, superheroes are not as super as we might think.
Yes.
So that one does sound interesting. The one that I'm most looking forward to reading, because I haven't had a chance to read any of this year's
Because you
contenders.
just finished last year's.
Because I just finished last year's. The one I'm most looking forward to reading is Johnny Appleseed by Joshua Whitehead.
Now that one is a big title. I've seen that going through the library a bunch of times.
It's being defended by DeVry Jacobs, who is an actor on American Gods. So we were talking about Neil Gaiman on our Facebook Live. So in this book, Johnny is a two-spirited man living in Winnipeg, where he moved from the reservation in central Manitoba. And he is making his money as a sex worker. And then he finds out his stepfather has died and he needs to make money enough to pay his rent and then be able to get back to the reservation for his stepfather's funeral. And then a lot of the book consists of flashbacks and memories where he is talking about his family and growing up and what it was to be Indigenous and what it is to be two-spirited. And it sounds really interesting to me. You're not going to read that one.
No, I'm not. I'm actually just looking at the Canada Read list right now.
And then there's one more, Butter Honey Pig Bread.
Oh, and that's done by the chef.
Francesca Ekweyasi.
Oh.
But her champion is Roger Mooking.
Yeah, that's the chef.
And he's a chef. Yes. So he wanted to champion this book because apparently it has a lot to do with cooking and food. And it's got these 3 different generations of women. It crosses 3 continents. It covers multiple decades. Part of it takes place in Halifax. And I was trying to read the summary and then trying to make the summary short enough to talk about on the radio because the summary is 5 paragraphs long. It's really hard to boil that one down into just a couple of sentences, but it does sound really interesting. So I thought that, did I mention all of them? Midnight Bargain, 2 Trees to Make a Forest, Johnny Appleseed, Hench, and Butter Honey Pig Bread. Yeah, I mentioned everything, right?
Yeah, I think you got them all, yeah.
Okay. So do you think you're going to read any of them? Maybe you should read the Butter Honey Pig Bread. It's got a lot of food in it, and you're a food person.
I might be willing to try Hench. Maybe we could do that for one of our Facebook Lives.
Oh,
we
maybe.
could each read a Canada Reads. When do they announce the winner?
It'll be at the end of this week.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. You said it right off the top. Do we physically have all the copies here already?
Yep.
I wonder if there's a bunch of holds. I'll have to look. Maybe I'll try and we can, in our...
Well, since we're doing Bridgerton next month for this month, it's March. This month for our Facebook Live, it would be another month after that. And by then the holds should have calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So that is this year's Canada Reads contenders. I do tend to read a lot of books off of the Canada Reads list. I don't read usually, I don't read all 5 every year. And some of them I love and some of them I hate. I'm looking at you, Stanley Park.
What did he write?
Well, the book's name is Stanley Park.
Oh, okay.
The author is...
Because I'm flipping through past winners, and there's quite a few of them that I recognize. So, Book of Negroes, 15 Dogs. Lawrence Hill has actually won twice. The Illegal, won in 2016, and then...
Well, last year's winner was Samira Habib with We Have Always Been Here.
And I recognize that cover.
That was her memoir of growing up as Muslim and queer and as an immigrant to Canada. So, that's a lot of intersectionality going on there.
Complicated Kindness, Lullaby for Little Criminals, Rue,
Yeah.
Rockbound.
Yeah, they're
Like, I've never read any of these, but I certainly recognize that
I've read most of them.
I certainly recognize that people are boring them on a fairly regular basis. There's not The Best Laid Plans by Terry.
Phallus.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I couldn't really read that writing.
I couldn't read that one. I tried. A lot of people loved it. I just,
February, Lisa Moore. The Orenda. Is that how you... Joseph Boyden? Orenda?
Yep.
So there's quite a few that I recognize.
One of the ones last year on the list was Son of a Trickster by Eden Robinson.
Your favorite.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I know I'm jumping ahead. I'm going to talk about what I'm currently reading because I've just finished the third book in the trilogy, Return of the Trickster. And I cannot tell you how much I love this trilogy. I love it so much. And I think everybody should read it.
Has the series aired on CBC yet?
They only did one season. They're not going to pick it up for another season. There was some sort of controversy with the
So it
director.
has aired already.
Yeah, and they're not going to. CBC has dropped the show, so there won't be. I haven't watched any of it because I love the books so much, and I don't know that I can watch a TV series of it.
Have you read any reviews?
No, I don't want them to sully my views of these books. So it's Son of a Trickster, Trickster Drift, and Return of the Trickster. And I cannot emphasize enough how much people should read these books. Oh my goodness, they're so good. I was lucky enough that I got to take part in a Q&A with Eden Robinson via Zoom at a virtual conference I attended last month. And first of all, she has the best laugh. She has one of those really full, contagious laughs. It's really great. And then she talked a lot about writing books that had like Sasquatch and stuff in them. She put one in this book. She says she put it in there for her dad.
Nice.
Because he was like, these are good. Why aren't there any Sasquatch in it? Apparently the Sasquatch prefer to be referred to as wild men.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So in the third book, Jared, who was our main protagonist, is not only navigating sobriety because he has decided to no longer drink or do drugs. He's also navigating being a trickster because he is born of a trickster and all that entails. And there are wolves after him, but they're like shape-shifting wolves. And there are witches, there are ogres, there are otter people, there's a Sasquatch, his name is Chuck. I mean, it's just...
The Sasquatch is named Chuck?
The Sasquatch is named Chuck and he lives outside of Whistler. It's just, I cannot express to you how much I laughed, I cried, the end part... What's that called when they wrap up?
The epilogue?
Yes, thank you.
Road juice.
Road juice is our expression for when we can't remember a word. It's weird. So the epilogue, it was really, really a short epilogue where she actually just kind of gives you little snippets of what happens in people's lives after. And I legit cried because those people are gone now. Because when you close the book, those characters are no longer there. It's very sad.
I'm sorry that your favorite book has ended.
So, yeah, I cannot say enough about that trilogy. So Eden Robinson's book, the first book in the trilogy, Son of a Trickster, was a Canada Reads contender last year. It didn't win, but I hope that a lot of people picked the book up just because
you talk about it constantly.
I know. It's going to be... So, of my top 5 favorite books last year in 2020, it was the second one in the trilogy, Trickster Drift. And I'm sure that this one is going to be in my top 5 for this year.
Nice.
Because I just love these books. They're so well written. They're so interesting. I really care about Jared as a character and I want good things to happen to him, even though he makes a lot of stupid decisions.
As a lot of kids do.
Yeah. And he's 18 when this book takes place. So when he starts, he's in high school and then he's gone on to college and now he's dropped out of college. There's a lot happening in his life. What with, changing into a raven periodically.
Don't give it all away.
I can't. There's just so much. It's so good. Okay, I'm going to stop now. So that is both Canada Reads and what I'm currently reading. Do you want to talk about what you're currently reading? First of all, is it part of that Immortals?
No.
Okay, good. All right, then you can talk.
So this month for our Facebook Live, we're doing Bridgerton. And so I've been sort of gathering up read-alike books for those people. We talked about it in our episode. If you liked the series, what do you read next? And so I'm reading.
I'm going to actually read. I borrowed a book by Julia Quinn, the first book in the series.
The Duke and I.
Yeah, I've read 2 pages so far.
It's okay.
It's going to be a bit of a slog for me, I think.
I can give you some podcasts that will take you through and you won't really have to read it at all. They'll do the highlights for you. So I'm looking for sort of different read-alike books. And I'm starting with, and also things that I haven't read already. So Lisa Kleypas has a couple of different series, but I'm doing the Ravenel series. So I've tried book 1 before. I'm trying it again. I'm not loving it.
There's a new Ravenel book coming out this spring.
Yes.
I just ordered it.
Yeah, those are the children of these peeps. I think I might skip ahead to book 3 because it's the book that everybody seems to love the most.
Is that set in Regency as well?
No, I feel like it's Victorian because they're talking about the train coming and how it's ruining the farming and you can't make money off of being a wealthy landowner anymore.
Okay.
Because the Ravenels, I was trying to figure out what to call them. Basically, he's not a duke, but they have they're a well-known, not so rich family anymore, but he has enough money that if he's careful enough, he can live a life of debauchery without any effort whatsoever.
Oh my goodness. That is my life plan right there.
Well, I mean, the problem is you drink yourself to death and you probably get syphilis before you're 30. So I don't know
I'm way too old for a life of debauchery.
So Devin Ravenel is the hero in this book, and he inherits an estate from his cousin who has died. And he gets there, and the estate is just in absolute disrepair. Everything's rotten. Everything's old. It hasn't been cared for in years. So there's no money, but the estate is entailed, which means he can't just sell it off. Also, the estate comes with his widow and children. Or are they her children, or are they? Anyway, there's a widow and there's children. And he's
someone's children.
Yes. I don't know if they're wards or because they weren't married very long. So I don't think she's physically had any children. Devin basically walks in and is like, yeah, we'll see if we can break the entailment. I'll get rid of the widow and whoever the children are. And of course she overhears it. And she's in mourning. Her husband that she loved has just died. And she's basically destitute because there's no real money in this estate. She probably came from a family with not that much money either, hoping to sort of have an advantageous marriage. So anyway, they've met. They're fighting with each other. I'm not loving.
Okay.
So I may go to Devil in Spring, which is book 3 in the series, which everyone really likes.
I have no desire to read any of that.
That's okay.
I do want to update you that I have read 16 books thus far this year, and 15 of them fit into Pop Sugar Reading Challenge categories.
Nice.
So
you're coming along.
I'm coming along. At this speed, I'm a little behind my goal of getting 100 books, but I do tend to read more in the summer.
Yeah.
When I have vacation and I can just sort of sit on the beach and read. That is my absolute favorite thing to do. I'm going to talk about March break.
Do it.
Okay. All right.
March break is coming, everyone.
March break is coming.
It's already too late.
No, it's not. So we put together a whole bunch of take and make kits, tons and tons of them. And they are, if not all spoken for, pretty much all spoken for throughout the whole of the county.
I think even the waiting lists are filled for everything at this point.
But that doesn't mean that you can't join us virtually. So
no,
all
absolutely.
of these programs are going to be virtual. You're going to be able to see them all on the library's Facebook page, Cumberland Public Libraries. There is a lot of fun things that will be happening. And just because you don't have the kit doesn't mean you can't follow along with us at home. So, if you're making an Among Us stuffy and you don't have the kit and you use something else to make it, we would love to see what you make. It would be really fascinating. Plus, there's all kinds of stuff. There's a puppet show. There is Julie.
Story time.
Julie is torturing some of the staff by making us eat really hot food. Some of which, Anyway, there's a story time. So you can find...
We're doing an escape room.
Yeah, an Among Us escape room,
Yep.
right? Virtual. Everything is virtual. So even though you can't pick up a kit, follow along for the week. There's going to be so much stuff going on. It's going to be so much fun. And
Julie always lists when she starts a video the list of supplies that you'll need. So you can start the video, get your list of supplies, see what you have around the house, and then come back to it later.
plus, you can go back and look at our other videos.
Yep.
She has a lot of really simple craft ideas that you can make with things around the house. So there's lots of activities that you can do, and there's a lot of family activities. And because everything is virtual, you can kind of do it on your own time frame. She has different things will be posted on different days.
Thing is live though, so you're not missing anything if you're not there at 10 o'clock when that video is released. They're all going to be on our Facebook page.
Yeah. And if you are one of the lucky people who got your name onto the list to get or take and make kits, please, please, please come and pick them up, because if you don't, that means somebody else is missing out.
Well, and you can start picking them up on March 12th, which is the Friday before March break.
That's this Friday.
Oh, okay.
I know. March just is like...
It's already gone. You can pick them up Friday, Saturday, and Tuesday, and Wednesday. And if
in Amherst.
In Amherst, yes.
In the other branches that you have to look at the
Friday,
hours.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Advocate starts on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we'll be phoning people who haven't picked up their kits just to remind them come in. And there will be a cutoff that if you don't come and pick up your kit by a certain time, we'll then be going into the wait list to give those people a chance.
Yeah. So, yeah, join us for March break, whether you have a kid or not. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff happening. And we look forward to seeing the kinds of things that people create and what kind of fun they have. And we'd love for them to comment and let us know what they did. What are we talking about next week?
Next week, we're talking about books with song titles.
Or books with the title that is the same as a song title?
That's books with song titles, isn't it?
It's obviously a Pop Sugar reading challenge that I'm trying to fill.
Hard.
So
I think next week we should guess the artist from the title, because there were a couple that I was like, because there was one that I was like, I was singing the lyrics in my head and I was like, I know this song, and I had to Google the lyrics before I could figure out what it was.
Okay, well, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
My two favorite librarians. Brought to you by the Copper Tree Boutique in Dales Grand Market, located in beautiful, historic downtown Amherst.